TNA Wrestling. God damn, what a crazy week it has been for TNA Wrestling, man. If you are a TNA fan, remotely a TNA fan, I'm telling you guys straight up, you need to be really concerned about this TNA promotion right now, because there are some dark days that looks to be coming right now. I mean, look, let's deal with the positive news first. On the one hand, we hear that Zeb Coulter, aka Dutch Mantel, he's come back into the fold in TNA Wrestling. He's now one of the heads of creative again. We got Jeff Jarrett. His official title has now been revealed. He's now basically the creative head honcho. He basically has the final say in what's going to go down and any suggestions he wants to see done, last minute changes, or if he comes up with a really cool idea of his own, basically everybody right up under him, they've got to follow his orders. They got to follow his lead. So we got Jeff Jarrett's role now being revealed. We already know about the Carter family. They pretty much are like, yeah, you all are like not a factor in this anymore. But the Hardy Boyz, they announced earlier today, right along with Rebby Sky, that they no longer are going to be working with the TNA Wrestling promotion. And things had got really heated with Rebby Sky as she had took to Twitter earlier today to address a couple of things that had came about. She had put out a series of some real kind of, I won't say tacky tweets. Some people kind of looked at the tweets as ghetto. I kind of looked at it more of her letting off a little bit of steam. But she actually did a interview earlier today with the good folks over at Busted Open, and she addressed the rumors, saying that it was in fact true. Matt and Jeff, they did confirm it on their respective Twitter accounts, and if there's any indication that maybe these guys might be coming back to the WWE, it's very well possible. I mean, just the fact that the Hardy store that has been active for about over 5 years now, that's being shut down. Rebby is saying that with her, she was able to oversee the site. It was able to get the much needed attention that it needed. But now that she is with another child, expecting another child, basically, it's a little bit cumbersome right now. I kind of see that to a certain extent, but I just kind of get this vibe. Maybe WWE is going to be a calling, but that's like a touch and go situation. But she basically touched upon what was going on with the whole contract negotiating. Now, this is very interesting too, and I mean, I see some things have not changed with the TNA Wrestling promotion when it comes to delivery. I mean, my God, even the fucking local pizza delivery people, who you name it. It could be Domino's, it can be Little Caesar. Well, no, Little Caesar doesn't deliver, right? They don't deliver, so actually scratch that. Domino's, Pizza Hut, Papa John's. I mean, it could be Super Bowl Sunday and they tell you, oh, you're going to have it in like 3 hours. There's a delay. The odds of you getting that pizza in that time frame as opposed to a TNA contract, you're going to get that pizza first before you get your new TNA contract. At least that's the way Rebby Sky is kind of putting it down here. So she goes on to say that all three of them had separate contracts with TNA Wrestling, but that they all had signed at the same time. And that they didn't know up until a few days ago if they were going to be re-signing. She said that they received their contracts like 5 days before, which was a note of contention for Matt and Jeff, although she didn't care. And she said that TNA, as far as she was concerned, it was a really good, perfect situation for them because it gave them the opportunity to work limited dates. The whole family got to be together. You know, when they traveled, it was okay for her to bring little Matt to work. She said that things have been changing and it wouldn't have been the perfect situation if they resigned. She also noted that she felt that someone in Matt and Jeff's position should not have to be chasing anyone for contracts for 6 or 7 weeks, and that after a while it was like, shit, I'm not important. And she stated during this time they were getting weird vibes and feedback. They were waiting until the last second for their new contracts and noted that it takes time to review contracts. Very understandable. And I'm sure you guys probably heard about the rumblings that was being reported on some websites. I know Meltzer had touched upon it, basically saying one clause in the Hardys contract had saw them basically taking like 10%, TNA that is, taking a 10% commission from any bookings that they're doing outside of TNA. And I believe on top of that, there was something else that was in there, but the Hardys pretty much was like, get that shit out of here. We ain't having that. Get out of here. So she pointed out that there were several changes that needed to be changed in the contracts that were slipped in there as they weren't given notice until the last minute. When you just hear that, what the hell, TNA Wrestling? I mean, look, the Hardys have no reason to lie about anything like this. Now, look, I give Matt a lot of credit. I give Jeff a lot of credit. They have not spoke at length about what's going on to the length that Rebby Sky has brought up. And I think, quite honestly, given the gimmicks that they have going on, respectfully, they can't quite, you're not really going to get a clear-cut answer about what is going on with their contracts and all that other jazz. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen both of them respectfully. Matt is really into this broken Matt gimmick. Jeff, you may have a better shot at getting actual answers, but Matt, he's going to give you the whole runaround. You're not going to really, you're going to have to decipher what the hell he's saying to you. So you have a better chance talking to Jeff if he grants you an interview. You definitely have a shot if you're able to talk to Rebby Sky. So for Rebby Sky to be as candid as she was with this, I don't see any reason for the Hardy family to lie about this. I mean, this just further strengthens the valid points that many wrestlers that have had the pleasure or unfortunate pleasure in doing business with the TNA wrestling promotion over the years, hey, they were late with my money. And you know what? I know everybody wants to be like, oh, it happens all the time. Try saying that to somebody that is relying on that money to come on time so that they can pay their car insurance. Try telling that to somebody that needs that money to come on time so that they can pay their mortgage. Say that to somebody that is waiting for that money to come on time so that they can make sure that there's food on the table for themselves and their kids, so that lights will still be on in their household, right? It's a totally different story when you aren't the one that's in that position relying on that money. But when you keep delaying somebody's money, sooner or later they're going to be like, okay, you know what? I've had enough of this. Sooner or later, if you keep putting somebody in a position where you say, well, I don't want you to come in to work this week, we'll see how it goes next week. And you're basically on a type of deal where you're paid per appearance. And this is supposed to be your full-time living and you're hardly being used at all. Then guess what, my friends? You're going to have to go into some other line of work or keep playing Russian roulette and hope that sooner or later you're going to properly be utilized in a way where you're making a decent payday from that employer, right? So for this to go down with the Hardys, I don't see how TNA Wrestling could drop the ball like this. I mean, one of the greatest highlights that you have for TNA Wrestling each and every single week was the Hardys. I mean, now things are remotely interesting because you have the Wolves, they're fighting one another. So that's a nice little angle that you got going on there. Eli Drake, I've been waiting for TNA to push Eli Drake to the moon. But I don't know. Well, it's like, what the hell? Bobby Lashley, yeah, he's still there. He's still doing his thing and everything like that. But Hardys, you talk to a lot of the TNA fans, Hardys is what was the lure for them. That's what made them stick around. So to not have them be involved in the TNA promotion, because they didn't show up at the recent batch of taping. So it's going to be interesting to see how their characters are written off. And one of the things that Rebby did touch upon on social media, apparently there is some type of a holdup. I would think of money, from what Rebby was kind of alluding to on social media. And she pretty much said, look, if we don't get taken care of, y'all ain't going to get these TNA tag titles back. We will gladly show up at another wrestling promotion with these tag titles. Or maybe I'll just melt these motherfuckers and we'll turn them into some gold earrings. How about that? So some very interesting stuff that's going on right here. And she also alluded to the fact that they're just coming off really petty. They're being little petty bitches in a sense. Not my words, pretty much hers in a nutshell, man. You gotta go and check out what she was saying there. But I'm under the impression that what is about to go down is possibly a nasty, my 2 cents from a distance. I could be wrong about this, but you all that are like, oh, Lee, do you think they're now gonna go to New Japan? Lee, do you see the Hardys going to ROH? Lee, do you see the Hardys going back to the WWE? No, not for the immediate future, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. My 2 cents from a distance. Matt Hardy loves this broken Matt Hardy gimmick. He knows that this incarnation of Hardy that he has going on is the best thing that he's had going on his entire career. Better than V1 in the WWE. Alright? Remember that? And he had Shannon Moore as his flunky. Even better than that. It surpasses that by 100 freaking thousand miles. Right? He wants to do everything he can in his power to continue to have that gimmick going. Whatever the promotion is, he wants to continue to have that gimmick running. Here lies the problem. You have TNA Wrestling that feel as though, hey, Matt, we gave you the creative platform to come up with this character. Therefore, we feel that this is a creation of ours, and since you're going to be leaving, you can't have it. This is our creation. So what I feel is going to happen is TNA Wrestling, I think they're going to try to take Matt Hardy to court, and they're going to try to figure out who gets the sole copyright and trademark of this broken Matt Hardy gimmick. That is what it's going to come down to. Now, with regards to Jeff Hardy, I see Jeff Hardy going back to the WWE. I can see Jeff Hardy going to Ring of Honor, or Jeff going to New Japan. I think at this point, both Hardys have alluded over the years they would love to go back to the WWE. They would love to pretty much put a nice bookend to a career by going back to the WWE. Lord knows the WWE could benefit tremendously using the Hardys again. It doesn't matter if it's on Raw or if it's on SmackDown. They would benefit tremendously having the Hardys again, especially to help work with some of these up and coming young talents that's out there, not just from a tag division standpoint, but also from a singles standpoint as well. Both of these guys, WWE would be very beneficial, not to mention all the network specials that you can do with the Hardys. Also, not to mention, if you ever wanted to do some type of a round table where you talk to the Dudleys, you talk to Edge and Christian, you talk to the Hardys about some of their infamous feuds and all that, I mean, people would clamor to the WWE network for stuff like that. New Hardy DVD. I mean, there is so much stuff you can do from a marketing standpoint with the Hardys coming back into the fold of the WWE. A lot of great potential, let me tell you. I could definitely see Jeff Hardy coming back, but Matt may very well want to bring the broken, and I wouldn't blame him. he may want to bring the broken Hardy gimmick to the WWE just so it can get the Kevin Dunn, Vince McMahon, even Triple H. Triple H has done some pretty awesome stuff there in NXT. He has proven that he has some really great concepts, some really great ideas. I'm sure Matt would be like, look, I see what you guys have done with a cat like Bray Wyatt, which alludes to an interesting tweet that Matt Hardy had with Bray Wyatt right when SmackDown went off the air. I ain't going to spoil it, but you guys got to go check out Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt's timeline. They had a very interesting exchange, and I know that's a matchup that a lot of people have been wanting to see for a good minute now. So there is a lot of potential that you can do with a broken Matt Hardy character under the WWE umbrella. So Matt may try to fight things just long enough to try to see exactly what's going to come about with whether or not he's going to be able to retain the trademark copyright for this gimmick. So my best estimation, quite honestly, I think the earliest you may see Matt Hardy in a WWE ring, September. If you're lucky, you may see Matt Hardy in a WWE ring in September. As far as Jeff, you may see Jeff as early as, what is this? We're pretty much going into March now. You may see Jeff around May. It's possible you may see Jeff around May. You know, no wrestling clause where they can't do their thing with other wrestling promotions. Then maybe Jeff can show up a lot sooner, but just at the earliest, it's March. I'm going to stick with May. But yes, TNA, they definitely dropped the ball with the Hardys. All three of them, they dropped the ball.